Sunday Showcase, made possible by a public service grant from the National Endowment for the Arts and Bristol Myers Company in association with its divisions.
Yeah. All rise, open your eyes, no need to explain. I got a homie from the east and I'ma tell you his name. Never hang around lames, that's a part of his game. And if you show deep respect, he'll show you the same. Jeff undercard boxing, shook the world when he came. A lot of cats is playing, but his hands are insane. You can get steamrolled if you stand in the way. He a yardie from Flatbush, you cowards his cat puss. We used to feud like Bishop and Q, but he'll fuck you up quick if I give him the cue. From the city of Midwood, the south central part of New York, next to Bensonhurst and Borough Park. If it's a problem, don't even say shit. Just face this when you come across the Bay Bridge. No tolerance for BS or fake kids. Your blood clot crying. Just stop trying. The Jeff Undercard prepared for the assignment. He bringing a appliance so cowards can't fight it. He might yoke you up if he feels slighted. He's spreading out toxins. It's undercard boxing. Yeah. Mad love and respect to my brother, man. From the motherland, word him up.
What's going on, fight fans? Oh my gosh, did we have a phenomenal week of boxing? A weekend filled with highlights, lows. What's going on, fight fans? How you feeling today? It is the Monday after a fun-filled weekend of boxing. One that had a lot of us either happy with the picks we made or very dissatisfied with the picks we made. There's a lot to go over, a lot to talk about, a lot to discuss. We broke it down into topics, recapping the fight weekend. Let's start with the DAZN card. Not the card, but the big card on DAZN, which was the crowning of a new IBF welterweight champion. We had Paddy Donovan versus Lewis Crocker. The last fight ended in controversy. You still on mute? Okay. That fight ended in a controversy where there was a disqualification in the fight, and they rematched for something a lot more important, which was that IBF well-coveted belt dropped by former unified champion Jerome Boots Ennis as he makes his debut at 154. And Lewis Crocker was doing a lot of good things. He knocked down Paddy Donovan twice in that fight. He seemed to have good control, good jab. Looks like he was the better boxer. Mm-hmm. But Paddy Donovan started to pick it up, started to gain some steam, started to gain momentum, started applying the pressure. Didn't impact the fight, like didn't knock Lewis Crocker down to kind of like get that 10-8 round back, but boxed sharply enough where he was making the fight very competitive. When the decision was read, you can tell that Paddy Donovan was devastated, that he didn't secure that victory, that he was not going to be named the welterweight champion of the world. And Lewis Crocker, who I guess had a lot of fans that doubted his capabilities and his abilities, was more than ecstatic to let everyone know that he is the new welterweight champion. I believe in the ring, he also called out Conor Benn for a fight. We do know Conor Benn is fighting Chris Eubanks in a rematch in a few months. So there's been some shaking up at welterweight. There's a new
shaking up is an understatement, my brother.
Yeah. What are your thoughts on Lewis Crocker? Like, how do you see him as a fighter? How does he vary against the other champions?
He's a solid fighter, man. He's a solid fighter, but he's going to end up being a belt holder. I can't see him keeping the belt for too long. I just don't think he got it, bro. Honestly, whether it was him or Patty. Unfortunately, I didn't get to watch the entire fight. I did watch the highlights. Crocker seems to have some power.
Yeah, like that cracking left hook. I saw it.
Yeah, that hook is something serious, and it's so funny because it kind of reminded me of the Vergil Ortiz fight, where it seemed like, Vergil in that fight against Sergey Bohachuk, he looked like the better boxer, but he kept getting caught, and then he had the 2 knockdowns. So if I'm being real, Thomas Hill was good. If I'm being real, it kind of looked like Vergil should have lost that fight. He got lucky, if I'm being real. But the rest of the rounds where he didn't get knocked down, he looked super sharp. So to me, based on what I saw in the highlights, I would say with Patty and Crocker, it might have been the same thing. But just Patty didn't look as vicious. At least Vergil, when he was up on the rounds, he was still looking vicious and spiteful. Patty looks like an efficient boxer. Surprised that was his first time getting knocked down. Right? I think that was the first fight he's been knocked down.
Yeah.
And Crocker, he has a cool look. He looks rugged. They both look huge for the weight class, bro.
Yeah, it looked like they're already at 154, but
yeah. So
the IBF rehydration too, with the 10-pound weight,
I'm surprised. Them boys look easily. So even when you had brought it up, and I'm like, Patty Donovan, I'm familiar with those boys, but I honestly thought they were 154, 160, bro. So but even with that being said, easy food for Norman.
Thank you, Miss Joette.
Food. Miss Joette, what's going on?
You also have Rolly and Barrios as champions in that division.
Easy food. Stop it.
Rolly, Romero, Barrios.
Easy food. Easy food for Norman.
No. I'm sorry. I'm talking about Crocker, the new IBF. Him a belt holder, and I'm like, I always go into the unification of these belts. And thank you for listening.
So, you got to. So let me correct.
Yeah.
Barrios, because of his experience, even though I have not loved how he's looked lately, because of his experience, I would have to edge him against Crocker. And Rollies, because Rollies is unpredictable. Rollies' power is legit. It will be hit or miss, bro. That's one of them fights where you be rooting for Rolly, but like the smart bet may be Crocker.
Yeah.
Because of his size, and he just seems to be a bit more efficient. But if it was like a Mario versus Crocker, Mario, I would even bet on that fight. Because Barrios has been so disappointing, I think he'd win. But I don't want to put my money on him. I don't have any faith at the moment. Azteca, I like the kid though. I like him. He seems like a nice kid. He's a sharp fighter. But the killer instinct is not there. And for someone who's pretty much 6 feet, 5'11", he should be running the division. We should be talking about Mario versus Norman. But instead, people are like, who's Norman gonna beat to unify?
Yeah.
That's how you know the division is kind of weak right now, bro.
True. And you also, from the whispers of the PBC, there seemed to be building a Pacquiao versus Rolly.
I totally forgot about Pacman. Pacman versus Rolly would be a fun fight. I would edge Pacman because Mario's size and defensive responsibility is what really kept him safe, but it really should have been advantageous. When you watch back that fight, he had multiple countering opportunities. Those are countering opportunities that Rolly would take advantage of, but I don't think he has the same 12-round defensive responsibility.
He's a wild guy.
He's a little wild. And I just think Pacquiao is going to be too fast. Now, what happens when Rolly lands? Is he going to land clean? I don't know. You're so crazy. I'm watching the replay because it's delayed on the YouTube, and I see you doing this. But I'm talking, so I'm like, why is he throwing elbows?
I'm demonstrating Rolly. Some people
I love it.
Usual than they are because they're like, who the hell is Rolly? I never heard of him. So I think that's a good fight. And I'm gonna read Thomas Hill's comments. The second knockdown.
Yeah, read that.
knockdown. Vergil got up and dominated every minute of that round. Afterwards, you could only score 10-9 to me, honestly. Yeah, because it's a 10-8 round. When you're competitive, maybe you don't lose the second point. Maybe it's just 1 point loss, even after the knockdown. So maybe that's how he edged it, because I had him losing that fight versus Bohachuck.
Yeah.
And
it's perception.
I wanted to see that rematch, but we can jump over. I don't want
to dubbing that rematch. Now I don't want to see it.
I don't want to see that.
But the other thing I think about too is that, and please, everybody in the comments, let me know. I never thought Vergil looked hurt in that fight. He never looked hurt. It always looked to me like
balance.
It's interesting. It almost looked like he still, to me, was controlling the pace, and I think that's why I wasn't oh no, Vergil shouldn't have won. But I also said to myself, like, the volume of Bohachuck, the 2 knockdowns, whether you believe the first one was a slip, it was counted. I thought he should have at least got a draw or edged it. But I agree with Thomas Hill. Vergil looked way sharper. Paddy, though, I think Paddy, to me, even the rounds he looks sharp, he just looks weak, bro. No offense. He'll probably beat me up, but whatever. He doesn't look like championship material. And unlike, I don't think Thomas would say that Paddy dominated every other round. There were certain rounds you could have edged for him.
Yeah.
But, with the 2 knockdowns, I want to say there was also a third round where he got hurt and didn't get knocked down. But I don't know, man. I think both of those guys, I don't know, something about the UK. Yeah. The UK guys at certain weights are they just don't make it across the pond. Yeah, I don't know, man. They make great heavyweights, it seems. The light heavyweights have been solid. But some of these middleweight and welterweight guys, they just don't cut it past a certain level. And I don't know what it is. Because I like how some of them box, but I don't know, bro. It's a little annoying, too, because we want good competition from the UK.
Yeah.
Thomas said my assessment was correct. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he also said, he got caught with a good punch on the second knockdown, but he wasn't. He was dropped. Yeah. It seems that we see fights. It's similar in similar visions. Salute to everyone watching on the broadcast and on the playback. First and foremost, let me just say this: stop telling me I look like Bud. All right, sick of it.
Yo, I ain't gonna lie.
I'm sick of it,
dude. First of all, you look great. That's a nice fresh haircut. You got a better hairline than Bud. No offense to Bud, so you're good. But I ain't gonna lie, you kind of look like Bud. You look like Bud cousin, bro. You look like Bud cousin right now, bro.
Because of the Netflix, it's like everybody watched. They was like, "Yo, anybody ever told you look like Bud?" I'm like, "Yeah." I put my do-rag on. I get outside. They're like,
"Yeah, you looking like Bud."
I ever told you look like Terence Crawford? I'm like,
"Yeah, bro."
Now the casual running me down.
You gotta learn how to switch hit now. You gotta learn how to switch hit. But what else? Let's
we can jump over to the long ass card that put a lot of people to sleep. We'll get to the main event.
That card was too long. I'm gonna go back and watch some of the DAZN stuff. Maybe I can find something interesting or somebody interesting. But going to the Netflix, bro. Tell me where you want to start with that.
I want to start Bohachuck, Brandon Adams.
Oh my gosh, what was the fight before that? That was Alakal. No, that was Kalal. They had a couple of nonsense stoppages.
Yeah, like Terence Crawford. It was his name was
Crawford. Yeah.
And it was like, I like Mohammed. I'm like, what the hell is going on here? Who is this guy?
So Mohammed kid, he's definitely pushed by Turkey.
Turkey, of course.
And he's a sharp boxer, but the power's not there. I don't know how far he's gonna go because Crawford, who you can tell is not as polished, he was on his body, leaking nose and all. If Crawford had more polish, the young Spanish-looking Crawford, if he had more polish, I think Mohammed would have been cooked.
Yeah.
Because for how sharp Mohammed was, he couldn't keep this kid off of him at all, bro. I'm trying to go on the Boxing Showtime just so I could line it up. But yeah, anyway, moving on from that one, I don't think that kid has too much sauce. If I'm being real, no disrespect.
I mean, I would want to start with Jermaine Franklin versus Ivan Dicho, but that was such a terrible fight. I don't want to talk about it.
It was a terrible fight. It was a terrible fight, and Jermaine got lucky. He got OD lucky. He got lucky with that one, bro. if you're counting the punches, I think Jermaine is a way more efficient boxer. But just counting the punches, he got lucky.
Thank you, Miss
He
Jordan.
got lucky. I'm about to read what she said in a second. I didn't get to look.
Yeah, I've heard that one. Blair Underwood. I've heard that one, Samus. I've heard that.
Blair Underwood,
Yeah,
dude.
it's the chin cut. It's the cut. Yeah.
Yo, we should have been calling you that in school.
Y'all ain't see the
That would have
vision.
been crazy. I ain't see it.
You also had this Nelsen knockout, which we spoke about.
We did speak about that.
And I wanted just to get the insight because you had a great perspective on it, on how you're viewing it from your side. So please.
So what's tough is, and I don't even remember what I said to you in the voice note, but it just looked bad, bro, because my thing with Nelsen is he's super durable. He only has one loss, pretty decent knockout ratio. He's Bud Crawford's boxing sparring partner. And it was a flurry. I ain't gonna lie, he just looks slow, bro.
Yeah.
The other kid, I think the kid is Cuban.
Yeah.
He's been doing those one round battle matches.
Yeah.
So if you did any homework, from what I heard, I think Nelsen, he didn't have the full camp in terms of knowing about the kid.
Yeah, no, but he's usually on Bud's cards. So usually when Bud fights, he fights.
Yeah, he be training. So I think if they did, and that team is so good at doing research. So if you have any inkling that this kid is number one Cuban, he's not a bad fighter, has had some interesting losses. He's been doing really well on these one-round boxing matches, which means he's been training for firing out the gate. So you gotta kind of expect that he's young. He's gonna come firing out the gate. I got mad respect for Nelsen. He looked about 48, even though I think we probably close in age, and he got overwhelmed. And I will say, when you go back and watch it, I want to say it was maybe 9 or 10 unanswered punches.
I know, but
he was standing up. You could have gave him a standing count.
The referees have been doing they're neglecting. It's protect the fighter. So if he's not, if you see that he's visibly hurt, if you see him disoriented, I understand getting hit with punches, but we are boxing. You know what I mean? Guys can take a few punches to the head and not throw back, but then show me something. He starts to throw, you step in. All right, that's it.
Which is the craziest thing. You say, show me something. The man tries to show you something, and then you stop it. Because to me, out of the flurry, it only looked like he really got hurt with one punch. And y'all can go back and watch it. Feel free to correct me in the comments, but it only looked like he really got hurt where I saw him do somebody.
I think it's because he went into the ropes, he threw a bunch of punches, he kind of spun off, and then the ref stepped in, and I'm like,
what? And dude, for everybody who watched multiple programs, I think in total for Saturday that might have been the third stand-up stoppage.
Yeah.
Which
another one with Sona Alka versus Marco Veda.
That's who I was saying. I said Kalalo. I said Kalalo. Alka. Who put that? Somebody put that?
No.
It was that short, stocky, bald head, muscular.
I've seen that guy fight too. He fought Nico Ali Walsh. Toe to toe, balls.
He was on his body. Yeah. So I don't know. They did him dirty too, because once again, he was standing up.
Now I get that, because what happened in Japan is a real thing where two people on the same card passed away days after.
Yeah.
But they took that beating over a period of time.
Yeah, you're talking about early rounds.
You're talking about 10 rounds of getting punched in your thing just like that.
Yeah. You're talking about early these are early stoppages. These are early stoppages. I mean, if anything, somebody could have they could have stopped the fight in the which we're gonna get to, the Bohachuck.
Yeah.
They could have stopped the fight in the Martinez.
You check that wobbly noodles. He literally was dancing.
Both of those fights were CTE fights.
And Mbilli versus Lester Martinez, which we'll get to.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. But let's get to the Brandon Adams, because I'm a big fan of Brandon Adams. His career has not been managed properly at all.
You became a fan?
No, I've been a fan. I've been a fan. I actually was disappointed with him when I don't know if he lost his last fight or got a draw, but I was super disappointed because that dude is sharp, bro. This is a guy who went toe-to-toe with the Charlo. He went toe-to-toe with a bunch of dudes.
He lost his last. He lost.
Yeah, he shouldn't watch the fight back. He should not have lost.
Damn.
Yeah.
He fought Charlo?
Dude, he fought Charlo back in the day. I'm telling you, Adam's been a problem. And as you can see by the way he fights, he's one of the last of that breed of old school fighters. I wish I could fight like him. I wish I was. I mean, I would have to just spar so much more, bro. There's a different level of strength and bravery.
The neck makes it a deal of how you could take those punches.
Dude, the way that he was slipping punches and then
was cheated his last fight.
Cheated him in his last fight. Thank you, Thomas.
This happens more than often to B-side fighters in boxing. That's why win, lose, or draw, you have to kind of keep your own record and repeat it. Because over time, it will. If like I keep saying, Canelo lost to Lara. I'm not gonna stop saying that.
I gotta watch that back. I remember thinking that it was super close. They could have given it a draw.
Yeah, I think it was a draw. I think that's how they scored it. He didn't.
Yeah?
It's a draw. Yeah.
Okay.
I think they. Yeah.
But yeah, so let's dive into that fight.
Okay, so let's tee it up. Brandon Adams was rematching Sergey Bohachuk, who he knocked out in the fight that they recently had, and Bohachuk was up on the cards. So Bohachuk was winning, boxing beautifully, outpointing Brandon Adams, and Brandon Adams with a left hook from the Almighty knocked that boy cold out.
Knocked him cold out, bro. Cold out. And what's funny is this was a very different fight. It looked similar, but it was different because that fight, I would have told you Bohachuck would have had a clean sweep.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe they would have. I don't know if that one was a 10-round. It might have been a 10-round fight, but I would have said they would have had at least Bohachuck up 7-3. If I'm doing the math right, yeah, 7-3 at least if he hadn't gotten knocked out.
He got knocked out in the last round, in the 10th round.
No, he got knocked out. I want to say 7 or 8. Somebody fact check me. I was looking up the card list for
Bohachuck down in round 8.
8, yeah. See, so, but this fight. Let's get to this fight. Let me tell you something, son. This fight had some of the best inside boxer brawling I've seen such a long time, bro. I still stand to say they might boot it out of fight of the year versus the Mbilli, but from a technical standpoint, that was a much better fight.
Mm-hmm.
Adams versus Bohachuk. Both of those fighters, Bohachuk has underrated like offense that transitions into defense. Nothing cute, nothing fancy, but he was just barely, kind of like avoiding the full brunt of some of Brandon's punches, but he was also getting clean clipped. Yeah. Brandon, let me tell you something, though. Brandon was just picking and choosing when he wanted to do whatever he wanted to do. That's why I had him winning the whole time. Even when Bohachuk had his surges, I had him winning the entire time. Brandon's slip into roll into offense is disgusting. The way he plants his feet, bro, and was just strong. There was one point where he shot a jab, rolled the shoulder, sat down on the front foot, and came with a looping, right? Hit him, slipped back like this, and then turned it again, and then shot. Dude, everything.
The combination punches was
combination nasty.
If you to the casual eye, you might have missed some of the things like you'd be like, oh, they just rock 'em, sock 'em. No, there's a lot of defense in there as well. There's a lot of I blocked that, I caught that, I threw that, and I blocked again because once I knew I was vulnerable, I had to make sure to be defensively responsive.
Yeah. And he trusts his body.
Yeah, funny enough too, because Bohachuk was also offered the Jerron Boots Ennis fight for $500K, but went for the probably bigger money and the rematch, and fought on the
because it was on Netflix.
Yeah,
so it might have been a bigger bag. I mean, the Jerron fight would have been a cool fight, but he would
Jerron.
Yeah, but Jerron would have done him like how he did Villanueva.
Roman Villa.
Sorry, Roman Villa. Villa, my fault, bro. I botched your name. He would have did him dirty, bro. He would have did him dirty because if you notice, and this is why I say Brandon has still. I didn't say it yet, but this is why I thought it and didn't say it. Brandon has so much more to give because back end of the fight, did y'all peep how Brandon started stepping away and boxing him and was outboxing him as the shorter fighter with the shorter reach?
Yeah, because
he knew
Yeah.
He knew. He was like, dude, I'm catching this kid in, but obviously today he's not getting knocked out today this way. Let me get a little more space and see what I could do with still catching it. And then he chose to go back inside. You see what I'm saying? Imagine what Jerron would do. Jerron would have another slow motion moment because Bohachuck, with all due respect, even when he varies up his speed is not even a fraction of what Jerron is throwing.
Sure.
He would get clipped.
The
left
power
and right.
is not the thudding power. He has power, but it's not thudding where you respect it after being hit with it. Because I've seen Adams take clean shots and not really break his momentum. Like whatever he wanted to do, he was going to do, and he stayed. Like you get hit, move out the pocket. Yeah. Oh, let me catch my. It was more like. Stayed in the pocket a lot and delivered what he wanted to deliver. And I think he also dogged him out that fight.
100%. He was a physically stronger fighter. He was a physically stronger fighter. And you made a good point. If you notice, it was Bohachuck's straight punches. Bohachuck is amazing. The fact that he keeps up the steam after getting clipped the way he did, amazing. Definitely like Zepeda. Kind of like in the way he kept up the steam, but similar to Zepeda, them straight punches ain't got nothing on him toward the back half of the fight. Brandon felt that. That's really why he felt safe. I think Bohachuck has 1 to 5. He has Spence-like power. Hear me out before everybody start going crazy. Spence is every punch is powerful, even when Spence don't put mustard on it. But Spence is like that. The Spence we know, all 12 rounds. Bohachuck, I don't think he's like that with his whole punch arsenal. Those hooks still had really nice steam. But those straight punches, I didn't see the steam. Majority of Hazarakis punches too. But the rewarded activity over achievement, he was the house fighter. Ooh.
Yeah. That's the reason why he lost his last fight. The last fight. Brandon Adams. He's speaking about Brandon Adams.
Yes. Sorry, I had to read it twice. Slow moment. I had to read it twice to catch it. But yeah, hopefully that made sense, the point that I made, because Bohachuck is a problem. He'll be a problem for a lot of people.
I know, but if it's a fighter where you just have to go past 5 and 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, cool.
You are boxing. Anybody who can handle the initial onslaught that he puts on, and then you can step back the second half of the fight and box him, but you got to box him and counter in 2s and 3s. A lot of these young fighters don't counter in 2s and 3s. So that's why Brandon did good, because he was countering 2s and 3s and going head, body, head. Sometimes he was doubling up to the body.
Yeah.
You're not going to beat Bohachuck.
That's how you get a pressure guy off of you as well. You kind of straight punches, I feel like they're trained for that. They respond more like you hit them in the face, I'm going to keep on go. But the body shots that make you, or if you catch it while you're breathing, you're trying to, and then it has a different impact on you, than the straight shots.
Nasty work.
And Brandon Adams, a big underdog, grateful for the opportunity. Now he has new light. He beat, Vergil beat Bohachuck. Brandon Adams re-beat Bohachuck. So you kind of now put him into that place of where does he fight for a belt? Is he somebody
he's dangerous?
Challenge for a belt? Like he's
dangerous, bro.
He's in good company.
He's in a good position, but I can see them dodging him because he also has old school mentality, old school skills. He got the IQ, and he has a lot of great experience. Yeah. He's 36, but he don't look like he don't fight like a 36. Like him and Terence, you could say they're similar, and if anything, they look like they're aging really well, aging like fine wine. They're in that fine wine era right now. So I think he's a dangerous fight for all the champions. Sebastian Fundora right now.
Ooh.
I think he would beat Zayas, bro. Unless Zayas can really run around for all 12 rounds, I think Brandon would beat Zayas. I think he would hurt Zayas. I think Sebastian he would have a hard time with, but he would hurt him because you see Brandon's body work is disgusting. He might break Sebastian's ribs. And then Murtazaliev we just don't know. He's the
Bakram still has
the banana skin. He's a banana skin.
Bakram still has
a banana skin.
All right, so moving up on the card, the Rock'em Sock'em Robots and Christian Mbilli, the WBC interim 168-pound champion versus Lester Martinez. A fight I thought would end in a knockout.
Yeah, see, Thomas, yo, me and Thomas, bro. Yo, Thomas is my kindred spirit, son.
Yeah.
Because he be saying the exact joint I'm saying and thinking. That's what I'm saying. They're not gonna. He's still gonna have a hard time.
Yeah.
But let's get on to the Christian and Mbilli. Christian and Mbilli is a dog.
Tonight, yeah.
It was a great fight. It was a great fight. I see Ms. Joette. Yeah, it was a great fight. Like I said, technically, I still rate the Brandon fight as a better fight.
Okay.
But all action like made me sit up on my seat. And Mbilli versus Martinez, both of them boys. I'm scared for anybody who got to fight them next if they don't do a rematch, because they are some dangerous fighters. Both are beatable. I think Lester's ceiling is higher. And Mbilli to me, he seems very limited, bro. But it's so strong and durable that he'll always be a problem. I don't want to compare him to Hagler because I know people may say I'm disrespecting Hagler, but physique, nonstop, doesn't really like he gets hurt. Hagler-esque. Hagler, I think, had more boxing range though.
Longer arms.
Yeah, no, just skills.
Who
actually had more.
Who did
skills.
you have winning that fight? Did
Lester.
You have a winner?
Lester.
I had
Lester.
Edging it?
Yeah, edging it. Barely.
Around.
Barely.
Okay.
He had to me, he had the flashier work. I was able to see more technical range from him. He looked like at points he was controlling. If you had to say Mbilli was pushing the fight, but he, with all due respect, one-trick pony. He comes in with very sloppy head movement, kind of like a weak version of Mike Tyson. No, I'm gonna say weak, very strong. Sloppy Mike Tyson, very like bumbling. Once he can feel you, it's like 4 or 5 punches to the body. Either the right or the left is coming up top. How many jabs did we see? I don't know. 11? You know what I mean?
Lester tried to box. Lester tried to separate himself, and I felt like that's why he would have edged the fight, because he stopped fighting one-dimensional and started to box. And when he started to box, he kind of, okay, I got you right there. Don't move. Yeah, don't. Top of the head. Mm-hmm. Boom.
Yeah.
Boom. And I said that too when we were talking during the fight, that he needs to box more, because I feel like he was fighting in Billy's fight. I thought he was fighting that way, but when he couldn't hurt him, I was like, wow.
I thought he would, and I wish I didn't have time to go back and look for more video of the corner, but I was curious. I couldn't hear what they were saying to him, because I'm like, are they telling him to create some space? I felt like he needed to create some space, because Mbilli wasn't going to have nothing for him. Every time he created space, he was having some success. I think his ego played a part heavy, because you could see a couple times he got caught. He really didn't get wobbled at all, but you could tell he was like, all right, come on, let's go. And he was, he had good lead hand control, but after a point, when a guy is so physically strong, you can't keep thinking the lead hand control is going to help you create space when somebody's so strong like a football player. He was trying to pull down the hands, but in you pulling down the hands, this man is pushing probably 180 pounds of muscle onto your one forearm. It wasn't enough.
I felt that was also something that cost him in the fight, having to kind of use that much force. Push Mbilli off. What he should have done was turn.
He wasn't angling off. Angling off. We're gonna get to the Crawford fight.
Maybe it was the hooks. But I
mean, it's practice and you sticking to the game plan, bro.
Yeah.
Ain't no way you train with Crawford and you didn't learn that. It's just a matter of young fighters. Part of what Crawford makes him legendary is him being able to stay diligent and militant when it came to the game plan.
Gotcha.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I don't think Martinez did that, bro. Like you said, he allowed him to fight his fight, losing so much energy trying to push this football player off of you instead of taking angles, creating space. Where was the pivot, the front foot pivot and turn?
I also saw him implement the head push down as a way to
yes, the push down.
I got you, Thomas. I'll check it out.
Wait, who's that? Clifford Etienne?
Yeah.
I might have missed that one. When was that fight? That was the fight. That was fight in the same night.
Hold on. Maybe it's similar style fighters.
Yeah. So
how he's built, how he looks, how he fight, how he goes about his business.
Okay.
Mike Tyson brutally knocked him out. So it's an older fight at heavyweight.
Okay.
And really remind me of Etienne. Yeah.
I see what you're saying.
Come on, bro. Come on. I got you. I thought Lester Martinez edged that fight. A draw. I don't think anybody was mad. I think we wanted to see 2, 3, 4 of this fight over and over again. We like the skill set of boxers, but I think wars or where the ability for someone to get hurt and possibly knocked out, throwing, going, because I felt like Lester had Mbilli hurt and had the ability to like spark him out, but his recovery time, like you said, he's a machine. He was able to hurt, recover, keep fighting. I was like, God, yo,
he
come
must be
on.
I can't even imagine being a sparring partner for that dude. You got to be in tip-top shape every single time.
3 rounds.
Yeah, 3 rounds. Get him out of there because Mbilli is a machine, bro. I thought he was really going to slow down because his muscles, but that dude. Now, if it was, I don't know. That was a 10-round fight?
Yeah, 10 round. I wish it was 12. I wish.
Yeah, if it was 12, maybe we'd have seen something different. But what's next for both fighters? If they don't rematch, I mean, they're championship level contenders. So I think them versus anybody is an amazing fight. We got to check out the rankings to see really who's next and who's next up.
Interim champion. So,
I mean, we got to.
Come on, Bud. Drop Crawford, that belt, Bud. Drop that belt, Bud.
Crawford not defending his belts, bro.
I knew that already. He's never defended.
He's not defending his belts. Yeah, I don't think he is. He said he might go down to middle.
160.
Let's quickly touch on
Callum Walsh, Fernando Vargas.
Yeah, I knew that was going to be a Walsh win. It was one of them cases where when you understand Vargas's history and when he started boxing,
true.
I just think it was inevitable that he was going to have a hard time and he was going to expose you. One thing about boxing is I don't care how amazing you are, how much athletic gifts you have, you will always have a disadvantage against someone who started before you.
Yeah.
You will always have a disadvantage against someone who has a lengthy amateur pedigree.
Yeah.
And I knew and saw from the first round, by the way Vargas handles attacks, even his movement, his limited defense, I already knew that if his offense wasn't super strong, he wasn't going to win this fight. Callum just looked way more polished, but he looked nervous.
Why? Yeah. Why did it seem that the guy with the polish or the guy with the know-how was fighting such a slot? The man was fighting with his arms below, like right here, bro, and throwing.
I don't mind that. Because I don't mind
that. Get him out of there. Spark him out so we can get to the main event, bro. You made me sit for 10 rounds. You know what I did?
So wait, time out. Are you saying that you're upset that he had his hands down and he didn't get knocked out?
No.
Or he didn't knock out Vargas?
The guy with the talent
didn't step it up.
Step it up and show me the level. This is the co-main event to one of the biggest fights in boxes. And I'd sit there like this.
Well, Jeff, so I'm not mad at him. That's all you blame the promotion for deriding Vargas.
True.
He shouldn't have been a co-main. Who is this kid? He shouldn't have been a co-main. Let me tell you something. I love the family.
About the business, baby.
I love the family. I can respect what Vargas is doing as a dad, senior.
Yeah.
He should have been the first fight. He should have been the first fight on the main card. Nah, not the prelim. I wouldn't have disrespected him because he still has his dad's name, but he should be the first until he starts to look like someone people look forward to seeing. He should have been the first fight on the main card. And then, you know what I'm saying? Because that way, that would have given Callum, because Callum was nervous. Let's be real. Irish kid.
A lot of people were complaining about the length of the lead-up fights to the point where they didn't stay for the main event, bro.
No, I didn't even hear that. I didn't hear that people didn't stay.
Because 10 round, went 10 rounds, 10 round, went 10 rounds. 10 rounds.
Yeah.
They're like, bro, it's 1 o'clock in the morning, and you starting the main event.
Yeah, Thomas said the same thing you said, co-main because of TKO, to show prospects that they can shine and give them a false sense of security.
Yep.
Yeah.
Come on. We know this.
And even and if you think about it, even it was a good time to test Fernando because now we get to see he was
never in any way lined for anything. No one was talking about him doing anything but boxing.
I agree. But I think that's the problem. Take off the Band-Aid now. That's what they did to Ricky Hatton's son. RIP to Ricky Hatton, by the way.
Yes.
But they did that to Ricky Hatton's son early, bro. They started to see.
He lost a few fights that day.
Dude.
Checked the list and gave him. I was like.
Area level. They should have done that.
Family name.
Yeah, because now you get to see, like, let's stop wasting time. I know this is a money train, but also you allow, Thomas said a good thing, a false sense of security, but a false sense of what you're capable of. Because you got this kid, I'm 17-0, 15 knockouts, but he hasn't been challenged. If he had been challenged at 10, how much better could he have actually gotten at 17? And now when you put him against Callum, he would have forced Callum to do more if he was better.
Yeah.
And then Callum would have brought out more, still would have beat him.
Yeah.
Because the next one to lose is the curly hair one with the soft body.
Emilio.
He the next one to lose. Him. And then the baby of the group, he's the one that I expect to do really well. He actually looks sharp. The rest of them, do your thing.
I get it.
Great.
Family name, legacy. Somebody asked for a Keyshawn Davis versus Vargas brother because I feel like they match up.
Emiliano?
Like the Vargas family tree versus
versus Keyshawn
Davis family tree.
I'll
like 3-3.
Nah.
Top rank, come on, top rank.
I don't see that. I think Keyshawn's family would overwhelm him. The only one who would hold his own is Emiliano.
Thank you, Thomas.
Callum did underwhelm.
Jeez.
Yeah, I agree.
Pissed me off.
And what's funny, Thomas, Callum has movement similar to like a Bevo. So when he first started moving, I was like, yo, this kid is about to piece up Vargas.
Why? It felt like he had to be on his toes to punch. I was like, this is kind of a weird, like he had to toe punch. And I'm like, is he trying to
amateurs
and out? Huh?
It's the amateur. He still has the amateur style, which once again, it's that Soviet Union style, but with the Soviets, they crack with their joint.
Yeah.
They know how to crack. And the Cubans too, they call it paso pendulo, which is just that pace back and forth, that bounce in and out, and being able to throw in rhythm off that bounce in and out. Boom.
It felt like when he was beautiful, he didn't know what to do.
Nope.
Nothing.
He definitely needs to work on his inside
game. Nothing came off of him, his foot being placed, except moving, like blocking. Mm-hmm. But then time to punch. And I'm just like.
And that style, usually you're good off the counter because you have such good balance off your back foot. So I don't know. But he said in his interview that he's a little disappointed because he knows he has so much more to show. And I believe it. I'll see. I don't see special, but he reminds me of like an Irish Xander in terms of like, he can polish up and he'll be good in every area. But if he becomes a champion, could he hold the belt? I don't know. Right now, I don't see him anywhere near the top guys.
What weight class? Was that 135?
That was 154.
154?
That was 154.
All right. Yeah.
Them boys are solid.
Moving back to welterweight and now fight Lewis Crocker. You're welcome. You're welcome. You're welcome.
He gets beat by Lewis Crocker right now.
I know, but he fights for a belt. Then he goes over that way. All right. Get up out of here. Get him up out of here. You know
crazy.
what we're doing. Talent.
All right. Let's get to the main. Hold on. Let me check. Let's get to the main event. Start your spiel about the main event. I just got to check something.
I'm upset. I'm upset. All right, hold on.
So,
I underestimated.
Just to be clear, let the people know who you had your money on.
Here we go. Why you have to put me on this? I have my money on Canelo. I bet a knockdown of Terence Crawford. I bet a knockout of Terence Crawford. I bet Canelo to win by UD. I lost money. Canelo. My Zell is undercard in boxing. Salute to anybody who wants to support the chat. All right. I had Canelo. My mind said Bud because of skill set, but I thought the bigger man who's been throwing the bigger punches against bigger and better competition was going to win this fight. And I was utterly disappointed in a fight that was underwhelming. There were flashes, but not too many of them. Key moments, one or two. And in a fight of that magnitude, I had hoped for special. Like, remember, like, yo, do you remember when, as opposed to, you seen that thing when he like slipped him and then he, you know what I mean? Like, there was few and far moments. Boxing fan, I enjoyed it. For sure, there was no doubt that Canelo lost. I thought they were going to give it a draw so that way Canelo could retain. I bet the draw also that he was going to be able to retain his belts. Like, Bud would have clearly won, but because it went to scorecards and he's the money fighter, they were going to give him a draw and give it the belts back to Canelo. But
that would have been, to be honest, what's funny is that would have been ideal. We would have seen Bud's skills. The world would have known Bud beat Canelo. But for both of their records, technically on paper, Canelo didn't lose to a welterweight, and Bud still would have his O, and then can move on as the heralded, but unawarded champ and go down to 160 or 154 and clear it out. But like 8 rounds, and they would give Canelo with the decision, but he won possibly 9 rounds. They actually gave Bud the win. Yeah. I agree with you, Thomas, and Jeff. I agree with your first point. It's so funny because there's two aspects to this. Number one, I really thought we would have seen even a glimpse of the Danny Jacobs Canelo. I was really hoping, bro, just from. Just to see how Crawford would have dealt with it. Yeah, I would have a little bit of the Danny Jacobs / Triple G2 Canelo. I really thought we were going to see that, bro. But the other no, go. What are you about to say?
He built us up like when he was in shape. We thought that's what he was going to give us.
Even my dad said it. He's not a heavy boxing fan, but he said the same thing. But the other aspect that we have to consider, regardless of where these various fighters that Bud fights are in their careers. And, we have to think that logically now, Bud's essence, his presence, and the few things he does in those first couple rounds completely changes the game plan for these fighters, bro. Because now you have to say there's so many things we thought Errol would have done, regardless of the perception of Errol's state, the accidents, whatever. There's so many things we thought, all right, Errol can combat this with this, and he just couldn't. And for Canelo, I was like, all right, he's definitely going to combat this with this, and he just couldn't. Yeah. Now, there's some extra effort that we all feel 10, 11, 12, like the true, La Raza, that's what they call him. I thought he would have came and just put everything on the table and just, went at Crawford with everything he had, he didn't. He said his body obviously wasn't allowing him to do that. But
can I ask something too? I'm not sure if you noticed this, but it seemed Bud's jab disrupted Canelo to such efficiency that he couldn't get into his own work.
No, you're right. Yeah,
Bud's jab hit Canelo and threw him not only off balance, and it would shift whatever momentum he was trying to gain in that moment. Whether he was trying to be the aggressor, whether he was trying to step to Bud, he kept having to reset and refine himself. And in that case, now Bud is like, I'm set. He's gonna try to swing for the got him, and counter.
Yeah.
And it felt like Bud he out-chessed Canelo and outmaneuvered him in that fight. Thoughts?
Teddy Atlas said this, and I'm probably going to cut this later and put Teddy Atlas instead. But he might be one in top 3 or 4 most instinctual fighters that I've ever seen, and the legendary, one of the best boxing brains, also agrees. Teddy Atlas. The subtleties behind what you said with the way he uses his jab, the way that he takes the angle after combos, those are two things that force Canelo to reset, just like you said. The other thing about his jab is he does the pawing jab, but because of his range, unexpected range, that short double jab that he does when he thinks you're going to move is still so sharp that it has you hesitate. It hits you. So that's another part. It's not like some of these other guys where they'll kind of do it, but you know that ain't nothing on it. You know what I'm saying? They're just doing it as for real rangefinders. Yeah. And they know, you know, in practice, coach said, yo, throw out the jab when you're tired. Bud does it in such a way where you know at any point he can shoot it as if it's a punch from here.
That was
and I think Canelo respected that.
He got hit with that. He threw a jab. No.
Was it the jab into the hook?
It was blocked by Canelo, and in retreat, Bud turned his hand.
Turned it over.
And hooked him. Because he didn't retrieve his hand, it was blocked, and his instinct was, if he blocked me, he'll be there again.
Turn it. And he turned it over. When I say Bud is one of the most amazing, his instinctual punch variety is like nothing that I've ever seen.
Read that.
You know, my logic was for Bud to win by decision, he would have effectively had to win 9 of 12 for split decision, 10 of 12 for majority, and 11 of 12 for unanimous. Wow.
Yeah, this is true.
His move. And Thomas also said his coaches told him not to press in those rounds. They told him he was done because his best shots, Bud was catching on the gloves. He was a step ahead of Canelo from round 4 on. His movement kept him off balance and unable to gauge the range for Canelo to land. Exactly, Thomas. Exactly. It's, you know, it's next level ultra instinct. And, you know, I can say this for anybody who boxes or, you know, practices boxing, when you do some of these combinations and these coaches tell you to do some of these combinations, you know, these are combinations that you may never be able to get in real time.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's somebody, especially even some of these really good boxers, they do something, you see their hand, I'm being dramatic. But
yeah, like when they hit the pads, when the pad work, yeah.
Yo, Crawford is the definition of he makes those combinations real.
Yeah.
He makes combinations that you can do to make. Am I making sense? I know I'm like falling over the words, but
no.
He does stuff that like
the shot in which you have practiced in pad work where someone is holding the pad so you know like you're gonna hit here, then you're gonna hit here. It's actually something that he's thrown
he could do
in real life, in live action, in games.
live action.
Yeah, in games.
And here's the crazy part, which makes him more amazing. He does it at a speed that you got to slow down to even catch every punch, which is even more phenomenal because once again, on the pads, you can see people doing this clear as day, and they're trying their hardest. And as in they, I'm speaking about myself. There's a lot of cool things I could do on the pads. Can't do half of that stuff in real time, even at half speed sometimes, you know, because you just, there's a higher level. Yeah. There's a divine level of instinct and focus you need to have. That's why boxing is so amazing. And Bud is amazing. Canelo's amazing too, but
all right. Let me give him his flowers. Let me give him his flowers. Bud, congratulations.
Congratulations, Bud.
Becoming the 3-time undisputed champion in the 4-belt era, something that's only been done by Alexander Usyk and Naoya Inoue. No, he's only been 2. I'm sorry. 2. And Usyk's been 3.
Usyk's been
because he did 3 times.
3 times, not 3 division.
Okay, so Bud's the only one with 3 divisions.
Only male 3 division champion. Clarissa is the other boxer.
Yeah,
and to your point, him, Usyk, and Clarissa have been 3-time undisputed.
Yes, correct.
Yeah, so yeah, amazing. And Inoue might do it soon. We'll have to talk about Inoue another time. 122, he might do it again. And then 126, I think he'll clear out. But that's another conversation. But let's try to, because I know we got to wrap up soon.
Yeah.
What is next for Bud?
And
what's next for Canelo?
He says there's a thought of him going to 160 and fighting the likes of maybe a Janibek, a 2-belt holder, and possibly becoming undisputed again in that division. The champions are Erislandy Lara, Janibek, and 160. Come on. Stop escaping me, brain.
Adames.
Yes, Carlos Adames. So,
oof. I'm gonna be honest, bro.
If he gets Janibek, that's 2 belts. Lara, older, and Carlos Adames, a former sparring partner of Terence Bud Crawford. Could be done. It just is. Does he want to spend that?
That's a hard road.
Yeah, and he's cutting weight.
That's a hard road. It's a hard road. They're not as popular, and
there is Bud.
He can lose. He could lose. I'm never betting against him again. He could lose though.
I lost twice.
He could lose. Yeah. I didn't bet against him versus Spence, but I mentally thought.
I was throwing money around, kid.
No. I bet for him for Spence, but that's because of the odds, not because I was really, really a believer. This time was the opposite, where I was a believer, but I was trying to trust my logic. Yeah. That's why I put money on Canelo. I'm never doing that again with Bud. It don't matter what the logic says, money on Bud. But Janibek is the hardest fight there. He's familiar with Adames. Adames is great. He's familiar with Adames. I don't know if he's ever sparred Lara. Lara would be one of those fights where I don't know how much credit he'd get for it.
Yeah.
Because folks may say he's picking on an older guy. It's funny, they're only a couple of years apart in age. Lara has the experience, so it'll be a great fight on the record. But I know there's going to be people out there to say, like, Lara may be the weakest champion. I don't think so. I think Lara is just high risk, very low reward.
Adames is the matter of fact. Why is PBC not doing that? I don't get you off topic, but at 160, Lara needs a fight. Carlos needs a fight. Unification. Come on.
They should have unified. It'll be a great fight. It'll be a great fight. I have there's a level of me who thinks Erislandy is so smart that he could win against Carlos. I don't think he can win against Janibek. Janibek has shown me, maybe, like, just for this example, 2 more wrinkles more than Adames. And I also think, where's Adames from? DR or Cuba?
Cuba.
So now you got 2 Cubans. So Lara might
and Lara
be more familiar with what Adames. And Lara's not dancing, bro. He's just gonna slip and catch Adames. He will catch Adames. Adames is tough. They call him a bull for a reason. But I could see Lara edging that on points if he doesn't catch Adames slipping. I just can't see Lara getting knocked out. Is that funny? I just got that much respect for Lara. I can't see him getting knocked out. I don't think he's ever been knocked down. But Janibek is a different beast. So I think he beats both his timing and distance. Thomas, I'm sorry, I'm gonna read up. Do you think he beats what's his name? Janibek? No, because between Lara and Bronco, whoever comes out of that, Janibek beats them. I just don't think Bud needs to fight. If he has to pick anyone, I would prefer him pick Lara. That'll be a smart fight, safe fight. Safer. Lara can still hurt you. Safer. And then Bronco and Janibek, that'll be a wonderful brawl. And then whoever wins out of that, that'll be a technical boxer puncher match between the winner of that and Bud. I like that arrangement. Bud only has to fight twice. But for Bud to go fight Lara, Bronco, that's a lot on the body, bro, even if he wins. But that'll be an amazing run. And then I think at that point, he'd be in my top 3 all-time greats. He would have to be my top 3 all-time greats. Right now, he's in my top
5.
I don't know. I want to say top 5, top 10. For our era, for sure, top 5. If I have to now go back to the, Sam Langford and Sanchez and some of them boys, and I could go back, Ray Robinson. I don't know if he ever surpasses Ray Robinson for me.
Sugar.
Yeah, he's original. So Ray Robinson.
Sugar, bro. I don't know. You don't understand the effect that sugar have on the body. It's addictive.
Yeah. Because for me, Ali, Sugar Ray, and Leonard. Robinson and Leonard are my top 3 all time.
Mm-hmm.
You see what I'm saying? And then top 4 and 5, I switch all the time. Chavez, I switch them all the time. So Bud can rotate into one of those bottom 4. But
yeah. What's next for Canelo?
Yeah, like 2 more minutes, Canelo. Yeah, thank you. You go first with this one. I don't know. Canelo should retire.
Nah,
but you go.
Canelo made the ultimate play. Give up the belts, still signed to a big fight deal, and now you have to pay me to fight Chris Eubank? Sure, bring him on.
Oh,
Jake Paul?
my
Sure,
gosh.
bring it on.
Because you got a good point. He can ride off into the sunset and still get good names on a resume.
And fight no
Just
one we
for
ask.
money.
Correct.
Nobody we ask for. Just money
now,
and go around beating
I
up
no longer have the
middleweights.
belt obligations. It's something I was thinking about this entire time. Like, without the belt obligation of mandatories being called and having to go and fight or petition, I am now a free bird with $100 million contract that can fight whoever I want. Because remember, Canelo was once the catchweight king.
Yeah. And he doesn't even so what's interesting that you say that is the question I would have next is how many fights does he have left with Turkey? Wait, so he just signed a 6-fight? I thought, was Bud not a part of the 6-fight deal?
All right, so then
5 or 4? 4. Yo, so he could fight 3 BS fights and end with Benavidez. Win, lose, or draw. He could end with, I know, he might. If it was me, I would end with Benavidez or Bivol. Win, lose, or draw, you still finish high. Those are huge money fights. You're fighting for a championship again. Ideally, I don't think them boys losing anytime soon. And you try to get your get back. Well, with Bivol will be a get back. With Benavidez, you end your career giving the fans what they want. Not when they wanted it, but at least you end. So there's nothing really after that anybody could say. I mean, there's stuff people will say. Oh, you waited till you didn't have the belts and blah, blah. But at the end of the day, we get to see it. And I don't know, bro. If you wait too long, though, Benavidez is only going to get better. He's going to really, solidify himself at 175 in terms of his strength and frame. And Bivol, I don't see him beating Bivol. I don't see him beating either of those boys.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Canelo, you've put in enough work where you can retire, but you're signed to a contract. So now we're going to put up with the Canelo with no belts. Like, Canelo will finally be able to reign or fight with no glamour behind it, with no nothing to be won or lost in that fight. And that's what I'm saying. Like, now Jake Paul is an option. Now Chris Eubanks. You no longer have to fight for a belt. You're now fighting just to put the name on. You want Canelo on your resume, as well as Canelo wants to say, I beat some of the guys on the way out.
Coming up. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, dude, it's so funny. Chris Eubank, I saw Chris Eubank offer Bud a fight. Both Canelo and Bud would beat Chris Eubank, I think. And I don't think it would be too hard. I think it would be a fun fight because Chris, he comes to fight. But I could see him getting knocked out, especially now that his chin has been compromised. Whether we want to say it was an elbow or a punch, your chin has been compromised by someone who does not punch as hard as Canelo or Bud or as accurate. And to be honest, we got to see how you look in this Conor Benn rematch. Because now I got to say, Conor Benn, eggs or no eggs, the kid is only getting stronger. We did see a slight dip in his power after the scandal.
After less eggs, no eggs.
Yeah. His ferocity and tenacity is still there.
True.
So I really am curious to see how Chris handles that again. Because if he can't decisively beat Conor, I don't know if we should even be talking about him and Canelo. What are we talking about? You barely beat a welterweight, and not even a welterweight on the level of Crawford, the size of Crawford, because Conor is smaller than Crawford. And now you want to fight Canelo, Big Meech, who's only lost to all-time greats? What are we talking about?
That's because boxing will be now. It will be the Wild Wild West and the circus that we've all tried to avoid it being. Real fights will take a back seat. Casuals will talk to us about fights with nothing on the line, and the fights with names that they've heard and recognized will be the thing that draws people into boxing. This was the spectacle.
I disagree with you on one point.
What's up?
I don't think real fights will take a back seat. And in my interpretation of a back seat
about Jake Paul and Tank Davis more than I heard, more than people asked me about Canelo versus Bud. And that's
okay. So So in that standpoint, the fights are taking a back seat, but I think we could find a sweet spot of using the nonsense like Jake has been doing to bring exposure and light to the better fights. And now the money is going to be guaranteed. That's what I think.
Serrano and Thing was great to fight on that platform. People.
I mean, even everybody who fought.
Yeah,
you about to say it, under the Tyson undercard. Everybody who fought under this Netflix undercard, they're getting some really great exposure. So from that standpoint, I don't think so. But what you can control, what you said, you are right. People are talking about Crawford and Canelo, but somehow still people bringing up Tank, people bringing up Jake, and I'm just like, what are we doing? We just saw history.
Yeah, but they don't understand it because it takes a lot more explaining. He was the undisputed champion. He had 4 belts. Why is there 4 belts? What's the ring match? Jake Paul thing, they fight in an exhibition. I think he'll knock him out. It's an exhibition. Yeah, but you don't think he'll knock him out? I'm like, I don't know, because it's an exhibition. Might just be they put on gloves. You know what I mean?
So here's the other part. Here's the other part. The skill gap between Jake. I told my dad this, and I said, Showbiz, for example. Shout out to Showbiz. He had said something that was really interesting. You know, when it comes to skill gaps, I think he said something about because of the size, he thinks Jake could hurt Tank, could actually knock him out. But you can't forget about there's a huge gap in skill.
True.
There's a huge gap in skill. So based on what we saw with Terence, it's way bigger gap in weight though between Terence and Canelo, and there's a big difference in height. So it's tough. But the way that Crawford was able to negate the power, there's a level of me that I'm really curious that when Tank catches what's his name on the button, is he going to reset Jake so hard that Jake now goes into, I'm not going to say flight like he's scared, but like the reality is all these fights you've had, I can count how many times people caught you remotely flush, and none of them had the speed and accuracy of Tank. Forget the power, the speed and accuracy. That's why Tank be getting knockouts. He hits hard, but he hits you in the place that shuts your lights out.
Yeah.
For guys anywhere near his size. So imagine someone
and
bigger, because people, once again, who he has a large skill gap with in the gym, he's doing the same thing with 16 ounces.
Yeah.
So is it worth the risk for Jake to even catch that L, even if he don't get knocked out?
True.
You get knocked down by a 135-pounder. That's nasty work, bro. You think Canelo gonna fight you then?
Possibly.
No, nobody. I don't know if Canelo would. For the money, maybe, but
you already had a signed contract with Jake.
What's gonna happen to you by Canelo?
Worse.
If you get touched like that by Tank. Bruce Gas, what up with it?
Yeah, I know we got
so,
right over a little bit of the time.
Yeah, we got to wrap up.
Thomas, if you want to jump off, guys, you could stay. Yeah, this era, what if Tank gets knocked out? It makes for interesting TV. I think that's why there's an intrigue in the fight, because of the disparity, because of who these guys are, because it's very name recognized. I think that people are more inclined to tune in for what will be a circus, what will be a farce, as Thomas Hill said, but the eyes and the popularity of this fight is going to propel both of these guys this way, where their next fight, they'll remember the circus that they watched previously, or they'll remember whatever took place in the fight that took place. Thomas Hill asked a question about of old enough now. I feel like that's why we shouldn't compare errors. That's why we should just stick to what we're currently seeing and stop trying to look back into yesteryears and drawing these guys to us and saying, you know, he was better than him because he beat this guy in this fight. I think what we should do is let's enjoy Bud in what he is currently. And from there, we can branch out and compare him to the fighters around his current position. But to go back and say he's better than Floyd because he's 3 times undisputed, I don't think guys were undisputed in Floyd's time where he had the opportunity to do one fight with them and win all the fight. He didn't have the opportunity to fight anyone for undisputed. Bernard Hopkins was the only one, and he was at, 154 at the time? Salute. I think people hate this fight. Not many people like it. I know, but hate or like this fight, Boxing Hacker, I think they're still going to tune in. Like us boxing fans hated this fight too. Zab Judah was undisputed in Floyd's time, but he fought Zab, but not for undisputed. So did he miss his chance? Was Zab undisputed before or after he fought Floyd? It's just a lot. Salute to everyone that popped in. What if? One thing's for certain, you'll be having a parade, Hacker. So I know who you will be pulling for. Yo, I want to just thank everyone for coming to the chat. You guys really make the show really great. We're building and growing. The goal is 500. We are at 471. Please like, share, and comment after it's posted so that we can just keep the conversation going. We've been putting up a lot more shorts pertaining to fights upcoming and fights that are going to happen in the future. And some of our sound bites, they don't go viral, but people want to engage in the conversation. And we want to show them the comments as well, so to show that people are engaging. Consistency is the key to all success. Thank you. Mondays, 12 to 1. We're going to try to be here as consistently as possible. And salute to everyone that popped up. From Thomas Hill, Miss Joette, Bruce Gass, Boxing and Jazz, Boxing Hacker, Thomas Hill. You guys make the show just that much more enjoyable. And we thank you for all the comments. We thank you for all the feedback. And salute. And I don't look like Bud.